do that. I know that some of you are concerned about Lucas and I and that we haven't grieved and all of that, but there'll be plenty of days for that. We know that. We are on autopilot right now. And I had asked the Lord, Lucas and I both, for a very special strength today because we felt like we needed to give something back to you, and in that way it will comfort us. I do want to tell you, and those of you who know me well will probably laugh, but his last sermon was on July the 22nd.
We saw that.
Almost perfect, but not quite.
Yeah.
When I speak today, I know that you will see Scott. And when his pastor, Anthony, speaks today, I know that you will see his God. There will never be enough words to adequately thank all of you for what you have done for me and my family during our time of loss. The Living Word Church family will never be able to thank the people of Greenville enough for loving us and being here for us. The power of your presence and of your love these last few days has astounded me. I know it may be somewhat unusual for a wife to say something at her husband's funeral, but it is something that I've always felt I would do if I were left here after Scott. Forgive me if it seems a little bit out of place, but it'll make me feel better. You often hear that those you live with know you best, and I knew Scott McManus better than any of you. For 28 years, we were the very best of friends. Did we have a perfect marriage? Of course not. There is no such thing. But we did have a wonderful one. We made a commitment to one another, vows, if you please, before God and man, to cherish one another, to love one another, for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, through sickness and in health. Our commitment to one another kept us faithful to those vows. There have been multitudes of kind words and expressions these last few days about Scott McManus, things that are often said at the death of a friend or a loved one. But I stand here today probably telling most of you what you already know, that he lived those kind words 24/7. It is one thing for outsiders to observe a kind man, but I stand here today to represent his family, the inner core, the insiders who knew him well. He was always the same. Kind, considerate, patient, fair, never one to complain, never. Always the optimist. He always saw the good in people and situations. Many times I've heard someone ask him, "How are you?" And his quick reply was, "Happy." I would ask, "How was your day?" "Happy." He lived life to the fullest. He was doing what he loved. When he owned his own airplane, I would say, "Please be careful." And he would say, "What a better way to go see Jesus than fly in the friendly skies." I either want to go while I'm flying or while I'm preaching a sermon. When he had to sell his plane a few years ago, his motorcycle became the next best thing. It afforded him quiet time to focus his mind, pleasure rides for him and I, and most importantly, a special bonding time when his grandsons could go with him. Scott loved deeply. He cared compassionately, and he esteemed tremendously. He loved deeply. Lucas, you were his pride and joy. I didn't want to see him, now I'm looking for him. They still hugged and kissed. One of Scott's proudest stories is telling about Lucas kissing and hugging his pop when Scott would drop him off for school. Not in kindergarten, mind you, but all through high school. Nancy, you became the daughter that he never had. And he would tell everyone, "I've prayed for her since she was just a little girl." Lucas was 4 when Scott received the Holy Ghost, and he realized the necessity of praying for Lucas to find a good wife. And he took credit for praying a godly wife into Lucas's life. Chant.